Obviously, we know that we just had the AFLW
Yep.
Season 7 kickoff, and what we're doing is we're calling on the government to put a greater focus on women's sport and commit to funding female sports facilities beyond this year. So despite the absolute explosion in popularity, Labor's calling time on their about $13 million female facilities program after 1 year. So there's no funding allocated beyond the 21-22 year. So we think that's very hypocritical, and we know that sports like soccer and football, girls and women taking up these sports more than ever, and we just want to see the facilities match the enthusiasm of the sports at the moment.
And when you say that it's their program, they've been in government since the state election. Is it something they announced leading up to the election, or is it something the previous government was running and they're not doing it for another year? What's the timeline on that?
So obviously both parties of both persuasions have programs from time to time. And this is one that they criticised heavily when they were in opposition and basically said that it needed to continue. But what we're seeing now is they've announced a task force, but this funding for this program expires in 21-22. So it's pretty hypocritical from them. But we know that many sporting clubs, they're telling us that they're seeing unprecedented levels of female participation. And so what we're saying is, that enthusiasm has also got the facilities to match. Yesterday I was at one of the local clubs, Raggies in the city, Atherton, and, they have seen an increase in numbers, and you see this sort of enthusiasm right across the board. So it's really important these girls and these women go out to play, go out to train, that they've got the facilities to match the enthusiasm as well, because they've got to have great amenities, just like the men have to have them as well.
And with these facilities that are funded by the program, what was funded in the previous round, are we talking better change rooms, or are we also talking about better facilities such as lighting and safer environments for women?
It's predominantly change rooms. So yesterday, that was one of the things that we were discussing in places like Hectorville in my own electorate. What you find is that once the change rooms get a bit of cash spent on them, it often serves as a catalyst to actually, in fact, do up the whole ground or the whole precinct as well. So, but it's really important that if these girls, these women go into one of these clubs and the facilities aren't there, it can really turn them away from actually joining and continue to participate. So we've got to make sure that they're fresh, that they're clean, that they've got all the up-to-date facilities, that they're inclusive, and that people feel comfortable and safe when they train and they play at these venues. And it's not only the home venues, but also the away venues as well. So it's up to us as a government to work with these clubs and make sure that we can bring the standard up right across the state.
Now, when you say, when you were in government, you were doing these things, you've got a little bit of time until the next state election. What can the opposition do to try and compel the government to continue funding in this area?
Well, look, we took this very seriously. So we know we've got the 2023 FIFA World Women's Cup coming to Adelaide, and we spent $53 million upgrading Highmarsh Stadium, $26 million on a state centre of football. We spent over $400 million in projects across the state since coming into government back then. And what we want to do is we'll continue to pressure the government now as an opposition to make sure that they don't drop the ball on this one, that they continue to uplift facilities right across the state. We want to make sure that girls and women have the facilities they need to be future stars of tomorrow. Look how we've now seen Port Power's got a comp in the AFLW. The Crows are doing amazing things, but also don't underestimate the excitement that the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, when that comes to Adelaide, the young Matildas coming out training at Jets Cross. Don't underestimate the excitement that will bring across the state. We've got to make sure that we embrace that and that our facilities match the enthusiasm when it comes.
Well, Vincent Tasia, Shadow Minister for Sport, thanks for joining us today on Flow. We appreciate your time today.
Anytime. Love listening to your program. Thank you.